2015 out of the bear market low, Bitcoin was up over 200%. We scroll over to 2019 out of the 2018 bear market, Bitcoin was up 300+%. And we scroll over to right now, to today, where we are, Bitcoin up around 94% from the Bitcoin bear market. And there's one thing very much in common throughout these three cycles, these three market lows, and that is the fact that each time Bitcoin makes a move like this, it's referred to often as a Bitcoin bull trap. I want to talk about why that is so wrong in this video and why the move for Bitcoin that is happening right now is just the very start. It is the launch pad for Bitcoin for this next bull cycle. And we're going to pivot to Cardano as well. We know what's going on in terms of the great shift of bear to bull market for Cardano, but something very special outside of just the charts is happening. We're going to break down the charts, targets on the short term, but I want to talk about this very special thing as well. So hit the subscribe, hit the like, and let's get started. Let's just start with the weekly chart. We're going to dig into the very zoomed in on Bitcoin for shorter term targets as well. But before we do, we're in this common out of the bear market move, just this pump. And a lot of people, I think, are saying this is just a bull trap. What is a bull trap? I think a bull trap is something maybe reserved for shorter term thinkers, shorter term traders. Maybe that could be true. We could call it a bull trap. But for the people that are zooming out on the Bitcoin cycles, the cycles of crypto, the people that are thinking long term and see the bigger picture, right now what is happening is so almost identical to the previous bear market lows, and what that led to each time before, absolutely insane in terms of Bitcoin price. One thing I wanted to point out to give context to this, and then we're going to pivot to the shorter term and talk about Bitcoin's current moves. If you look at where the Bitcoin halving is, or right around where the halving is, we're right around 322 days away from that area. Now, if you look at previous cycles, where was Bitcoin 322 days before the halving? So here's a halving right here of 2020. 322 days prior, we had the swing low or the swing high coming out of the bear market. We have what we could call, many people call, that bullish, that bull trap, I guess we can say. And then 320 days before the 2016 halving, we had Bitcoin in a similar area, just exiting the bear market. So all things considered, the consistency on the Bitcoin chart remains to be the same. What I want to point out is this. We have these moves to the upside. And from the point of the halving, Bitcoin in 2016 to the all-time high at the time, around 3,000%, somewhere around there. And then we have our exit of the 2018 bear market. And from the Bitcoin halving, from where Bitcoin was, to the next bull market all-time high, around 600%. So we have not even entered the next Bitcoin halving. And the question is, first off, where will Bitcoin price be? We could be higher or lower from where we are right now, but that just goes to show and reflect the very fact that this move that we're in right now is not a bull trap, especially on the macro. It's just the beginning. It's the setup for whenever we get to halving. Let's assume, and this is probably going to be wrong, but let's just say Bitcoin's at $30,000 when the halving hits. And let's say Bitcoin sees a move of 350% to the upside, and that could be a conservative target, right? That's around half of what we saw in the last move from the Bitcoin halving. But 350%, we're looking at $130,000, $140,000 Bitcoin in the next Bitcoin bull cycle all-time high. I'm not saying that's my prediction. I'm trying to give some conservative numbers just so that we can put into context. We have a move from 15,000 or so to 30,000, and a lot of people, I think, are defining that as this is short-lived. It's going to be over. When in my mind, I'm zoomed out on the chart, and 350% from 30,000 is around 140,000. I think Bitcoin could go way higher than that, considering what is happening right now from a macroeconomic perspective, financial perspective, what's happening with banks, what's happening across the world, what's happening to the US dollar. Bitcoin could go way higher than that. And I think many people are starting to realize that, even if they didn't realize that before. So that's a conservative number just to give a sense of, wow, we're only at $30,000 right now. Bitcoin is just getting started. We go over to the daily chart. I wanted to really just point out this structure that is happening. I know in my last Bitcoin video on the 6 hour, I think it was the 6 hour, we were kind of just putting in some just sideways trading here. I didn't want to track any structure. But if we zoom out just a little bit, we do have a rising channel for Bitcoin. And the Bitcoin daily chart gives nice just a nice shorter term roadmap to what could potentially be in store. Because at the end of the day, Bitcoin could very much break out to the upside or to the downside. That's always the case on the short term. I'm not here to predict, but I'm always here to track the structure and track the targets that are likely if we do get a breakout. So currently to the upside, around $35,000 to $36,000. To the downside, right around $25,500 or so. And that's what's in play for Bitcoin. What's, I think, notable on that target to the downside is just the very fact that Bitcoin would be hitting that 50-day moving average. And it's the 50-day and the 20-day in green that we always talk about for Bitcoin to kind of retrace into. So a target to downside even makes sense for Bitcoin if it is to break down. But I think what might play into the Bitcoin and crypto charts is what's happening over here on the US dollar currency index. This is a daily chart so far, and this could change, but we're seeing the resistance, this lower high resistance on the 20-day moving average. If this starts cruising to the downside, it is the setup for the Bitcoin breakout to the upside, $36,000 target, and that only plays into the story on the zoomed out chart. If we zoom out here on the Bitcoin daily chart, it plays into the larger term story, which is kind of this rising channel that we've been tracking for Bitcoin. And we can kind of just see the targets to the upside illustrated on the weekly. And that's a target of up around 40,000, just below a macro Fibonacci up here, which is the bull market high to bear market low and back up. So that target very much still in play, and it could start with the daily move on this shorter term chart for Bitcoin. Wanted to track that, but really just kind of give some perspective into what is actually going on the macro. And that is this very fact that Bitcoin just getting started, cruising over to ADA. We know what's going on with ADA. If you've been watching my Cardano TA, ADA has just been in a very nice uptrend. You can just go to the daily chart. Even since the bear market low, it's just been higher highs and higher lows. We're talking the end of December back here. Cardano just obviously big retracements, but check it out. Even if it falls again, higher highs and higher lows. This is a very bullish looking chart for ADA on the macro. I want to talk about shorter term targets in a minute, but first off, something special is happening, and it continues to happen. And it's this chart. It's the TVL, total value locked. It's again breaking all-time highs. I do this video right now, April 18th, 2023. You can just see this. The growth in Cardano ecosystem is here. And I know I'm saying this a lot. I don't mean to echo myself, but I say it because it's what we've been waiting years for. We've been waiting for this moment. And the fact that it's happening as we get a cycle shift from bear to bull, the timing, I don't think it could be better. But one thing to point out in regards to this data is just the very fact that the shift in dominance as far as TVL goes, we did see TVL kind of start shifting up because of DEXs and DEXs coming online, and that's a huge milestone. That was a huge era of Cardano, DEXs coming online. But now we're starting to see a shift, and it's from DEXs to emerging DeFi apps, and this is what we see happen, right? We saw this with Ethereum. It's happening with Cardano in its early stage. JED, an over-collateralized ADA-backed stablecoin minting protocol, ending Q1 with a TVL of 13.1 million and a dominance of 9.5%. Liquid, a borrowing and lending protocol, ending Q1 with a TVL of 8.4 million and a dominance of 6%. Indigo, an issuer of synthetic assets and stablecoins, ending Q1 with a TVL of 24.1 million and a dominance of 17.4%. And it's really cool to see that. And you scroll down, you see all of the TVL, the increase in all of these projects just continuing to the upside. It's awesome to see Cardano making moves like that. We go over to the daily chart. We start seeing, all right, we're going to continue tracking ADA. We've been tracking a lot of different things, and there's really so much. In a minute, I will go into the very short term to talk about kind of just tonight, even what's going on tonight into tomorrow. But I do just want to point out, we're still on track in terms of all of the structure that is formed on the zoomed out, namely inverse head and shoulders here. We have the falling wedge back here. Everything on track, and the moving averages, if you just look at these moving averages, the 50, the 20 breaking above the 50, now all converging together, it's really like thread that holds the structure of the charts together. All of these indicators we're always talking about, the targets that we're talking about. I really like the moving averages at all times because it's really just like thread that holds the story together. It pulls it all together. And right now, we utilize those moving averages as a very key area of support for Cardano in the shift from bear to bull. Right now, the 20-day moving average around 40.5 cents, confluent with the neckline of this inverse head and shoulders. So that remains to be an area that we could see ADA pull back to. We have the 50-day and the 200-day down here around 35 to around 37 cents. That's a very key area, and that is confluent with a higher low area. It's a Fibonacci retracement. It's a swing low, March 10th, to the swing high, and it's just this 618 right here, right around 35, 36 cents. I'm not saying I think that's going to happen, but it's certainly a target to the downside. If ADA and crypto starts falling, if US dollar currency index starts rallying and going crazy to the upside, Bitcoin falling, Cardano falling, red day, red week for crypto, I would be watching this area for ADA, 35 to 36 cents. It's just something I would really like to watch to see if there's support there for ADA in kind of the shorter term charts. Here's where it could start though. This channel, it's the rising channel. Notice how ADA has not broken any trend lines since the last time we talked about this rising channel, but it's a rising channel stemming back from March 10th. This is going over a month of higher highs and higher lows for ADA. Very nice to see. The momentum is still in play for ADA to make a move to the upside out of this channel, and this could be the story of that next leg up for ADA to continue its way to the daily targets to the upside. Remember, 70 cents, 2 targets to the upside. We have the inverse head and shoulders and that falling wedge, massive falling wedge, right around 70 cents. So the continuation for ADA really does start, the possibilities of it at least, on this 6-hour zoomed in rising channel. But time will tell. All we can do is track what happens with ADA on the very short term. And that's if we're not just really falling hard to this higher low moving average area of support. But on the short term, if ADA does continue, it's trickling down right now. You can see since April 15th or so. If that continues, I'd be looking for support at the lower trend line of the rising channel, as well as the confluent area right here at the neckline of that inverse head and shoulders. I mean, it is a very confluent support area on the very short term, right around 41 cents. ADA could fall to 41 cents. And on the short term, that would be my first area that I'd be watching for support, potential consolidation, enough consolidation, 7% to the downside, to see if ADA does continue back to the upside, to continue the bullish move. And that's what I'll be tracking on the short term. All the while, everybody, Cardano making moves in terms of TVL, in terms of growth, really setting the stage for the next cycle, the next bull cycle, as is Bitcoin. So we're going to watch these two. I think it's all just getting started. We have to sit back, at least I do. I have to sit back, remind myself to be patient, because this is a huge multi-month type of waiting period as we prepare for the next cycle. So there's a lot of volatility along the way. I appreciate each and every one of you. Hit the subscribe, hit the like. I'll see you in the next video. God bless.